So good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
So how was your exam? Anatomy?
Good, sir.
Good. Good, na? Fine. Okay. So let us wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. Then I will start. The slide is visible to you or not?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Slide is visible. Abdomen, arteries, veins, and lymphatics.
Yes, sir.
It is moving or not?
Yes.
Moving. So arteries we have completed. Today it is coming in a bigger way, na? Okay. Okay. Now, in the last class we have completed the arteries of the abdomen. Now today we are going to discuss about the important veins of abdomen. So we are not going to study all the veins present in the abdomen, but because all are satellite vein. Satellite vein, what is satellite vein? That I already told you. Now we are going to see only the important veins here. Now first important vein present in the abdomen is the subcutaneous abdominal vein or anterior mammary vein. The visible, na? Photograph is visible. Now my pencil is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see this vein, subcutaneous abdominal vein or anterior mammary vein. So this vein. So this is known as anterior mammary vein or subcutaneous abdominal vein. So this vein, it extends from the anterior border of the mammary gland. So here you see, in this photograph you see, this is the mammary gland. Have you seen some zigzag structure here? That zigzag structure is the anterior mammary vein. So if you are getting more zigzag, means that animal will give more milk. Okay. So the torsus structure means giving more milk. So this vein is present on the anterior border of the mammary gland to the anterior lateral part of the abdomen. So this is the anterior, this is the mammary gland, this is the mammary gland. So this is anterior to the mammary gland and this is lateral. So anterior lateral aspect of the mammary gland, you will be getting this vein. When it turns inward and join the anterior abdominal vein, which is located at the floor, abdominal floor. This vein is located at the abdominal floor. The anterior mammary vein enlarges at the first lactation. So at the first lactation, it is enlarged and become torsus at the subsequent interval. Torsus means when the animal will go for second lactation or third lactation, the torsus character of this vein is more. And as we know, one animal is giving maximum milk in the second or third lactation in her entire life. So it may give 8 to 9 lactation, but maximum milk you are going to get in the second and third lactation. So this vein is located anterolateral aspect of the mammary gland, and during the first lactation it becomes enlarged, and when you go to the subsequent lactation, this vein becomes torsus. More torsus means more production of milk. This vein exits the mammary gland at the anterior end of the front quarter and passes along the abdominal wall. It is going like this. It is going like this. You see, it is passing to the cranial side. This is a large vein that is visible under the skin on the belly of the cow. If you see here, this is the vein, this vein. So it is visible. It is visible on the belly of the cow. If you see the cattle, you will be female cattle, you will be getting this vein. It enters the body cavity at the xiphoid process via milk well and eventually empties into the vena cava. It ultimately, this vein will join with the anterior vena cava. So anterior vena cava, it will pour the blood. So this is one important vein. Okay, anterior abdominal vein. Sometimes it may come. The anterior mammary vein contains milk or blood. Tell me. Hello? Blood. It will carry blood. The name is the mammary vein, but it carries the blood only. So milk is produced. One of milk, the major constituent of the milk is coming from the blood. So blood flow is important. So for production of milk, anterior mammary vein is very important. So this is one vein. Next vein is the posterior vena cava. The posterior vena cava. The posterior vena cava is a large unpaired vein. It's a single vein which receives blood from the pelvic region, pelvis, pelvic limbs, mammary gland, and abdomen. So these are the 4 different parts from which the impure blood will be collected and joins the posterior vena cava. It is an unpaired vein. Here you see in this photograph. So this is the blue color is the vein. So this is the pelvic, the vein coming from the pelvic limb. These are coming from the vein coming from the pelvis, and ultimately it will join here. It will join here, and this is the posterior vena cava. You see, this is the posterior vena cava. So this vena cava, how it is formed? It is a single vessel that is formed by the union of the veins coming from the pelvis, pelvic limb, mammary gland, and abdomen. They will come forward. They will come anteriorly. And at the level of diaphragm, it will pierce the diaphragm through the foramen vena cava and enters into the thoracic cavity. And after that, this posterior vena cava will join at the right atrium. So this is all about the posterior vena cava. Clear? Okay. Next, portal vein. Portal vein already we have discussed, but even though I will explain again. So portal vein is different from the other vein. In other vein, what will happen? Capillaries joins together to form the venule. The venule joins together to form the vein. The veins are joined together to the vena cava. So ultimately there will be 2 vena cava, posterior vena cava and anterior vena cava. That means veins are generally formed from the smaller object to the larger object. That means it starts from the capillaries and ends into the vena cava. And when vena cava will form, and vena cava will join to the right atrium. But in case of portal vein, of course, it starts with the capillaries and ends into capillaries. It is not joined with the right atrium. It is not joined to the portal vein. Here you see this photograph. This photograph you see. So these are the capillaries. So capillaries from the intestine, then stomach, then spleen, and pancreas. From these 4 organs, the capillaries will form. They will form the vein, and they will unite together to form the portal vein. This is hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein, this one, and enters the liver. And liver, here it is again from the capillaries. That means it starts with the capillaries and ends into the capillaries. So it is connected with the portal vein is connected with the 5 organs. It is originating from the 4 organs. What are those 4 organs? Stomach, intestine, pancreas, and spleen. Then it will unite together to form a single vein known as hepatic portal vein. And this hepatic portal vein, instead of joining to the vena cava, it will enter into the liver. And in the liver, it will distribute to the different parts of the liver. So that is the difference. Can you get it? Can you get it, the difference? Other vein and portal vein. Any query regarding portal vein?
No, sir.
Okay. Next, saphenous vein. So, saphenous is a subcutaneous vein. Subcutaneous means it is present just below the skin. The meaning of subcutaneous is present below the skin. On the medial aspect of the thigh, this is the thigh region. This is the thigh region. So this is the saphenous vein. This vein is the saphenous vein. Here you see, this is the saphenous vein. So saphenous vein present on the medial aspect of the thigh region, thigh and leg. So this is thigh region, this is leg region. So thigh and leg. It is the continuation of the plantar tarsal vein. So this is the plantar tarsal vein. So plantar tarsal vein, when it will come dorsally, it will form the saphenous vein on the distal half of the leg. The vein is just anterior to the tendon Achilles. Tendon Achilles is present here in this region. Tendon Achilles, but common calcaneal tendon. I think you heard this name, no? Common calcaneal tendon or hamstring tendon. Have you heard this name? Okay. So,
No, sir.
no, sir. Muscle of hind limb is not finished. ये कौन है ये नो सर बोल दिया. 4 मसल कनेक्ट होता है ना. They are gastrocnemius, soleus, superficial digital flexor, and the semimembranosus. All these 4 muscles unite together to form a common tendon called hamstring tendon or common cancalian tendon. So saphenous vein is originating from the plantar tarsal vein. And when this plantar tarsal vein is present in the distal half of the leg, but once it will come dorsally in the thigh region and the leg region, it will form the saphenous vein. Now, importance of this saphenous vein is that this vein is used to collect blood in case of dog. This is one of the vein. It is not only the only vein. Cephalic vein is also there. Cephalic vein you will be getting in the forelimb, and saphenous vein you will be getting on the hind limb. So it is one of the area from which you can collect blood from the dog, especially dog and cat. And it is also one of the site to give intravenous injection in case of dog and cat. So in case of horse also, you can use it. So here in this photograph, you see, in this photograph also, this is saphenous vein. So this is plantar tarsal vein. The plantar tarsal vein unite together to form the saphenous vein. This is saphenous vein. So this is all about the important important vein in the abdomen. So how many veins we have studied in the abdomen? 3 veins. 4 veins. One is anterior mammary vein. Number 2 is posterior vena cava. Number 3 is portal vein. And number 4 is saphenous vein. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Next,
Yes, sir.
coming to the lymphatic system. So lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is composed of lymph vessels and glands, which are connected with the venous part of the blood vascular system. So it is a system. Already I told you in thorax part, but even though I am repeating that thing. So lymphatic system composed of lymph vessels. So here you see in this photograph. So these are the lymphatic vessels. These are the lymphatic vessels, and these are the lymph glands. These are the lymph glands. So you see, this is the periphery area. This is the periphery area. Have you seen my pencil or not? Okay, you see, this is the periphery area. Now here you see, this is the artery. Red color is the artery. Artery will come and it will form capillaries. These are called capillaries. Now these capillaries, this is a tissue. You see background, there are some cells. Have you seen these cells? Have you seen these cells? So this background, there are some cells. That means this is a tissue. What will happen? These artery capillaries will form, these capillaries will form the blue color capillaries. So blue color capillaries is the venous capillaries. Red color capillaries is the arterial capillaries. Now here, arterial capillaries and the venous capillaries are unite together. For example, here you see, the red color will be converted to blue color. That means once the oxygen has been given to the tissue, the oxygen level in the arterial capillaries will be low, carbon dioxide level will be high, and automatically it will become the venous capillaries. Now this junction is called arteriovenous anastomosis. Now venous capillaries will start from here. Already I told you, it will start from the capillaries, then it will form the smaller vein, then it will form the larger vein, and larger vein will join with the right atrium. Now when the oxygen will be given to the tissues by the arterial capillaries, then metabolic process inside the tissue occurs. Now during the metabolic process, the cell will secrete some fluid, and that fluid is called lymph. And this lymph will be carried by the lymphatic vessel. The green color is the lymphatic vessel. Now lymph will be coming like this. Lymph will be coming like this. When the lymph will come, it will join to the larger lymphatic vessels and join to the venous system. Now during the process of coming lymph from one place to the another, it has to cross the lymphatic gland. Now this is the lymphatic gland. Now here in this photograph you see, in this photograph, now this is the lymph gland. This is the lymphatic vessel. This is the lymphatic vessels. Now what will happen? In this lymph you see, in this lymph, from this side the lymph is coming and enters this gland. And from here, the lymph will be going out of this gland. So that means this part is called afferent lymphatic vessel, and this part is called efferent lymphatic vessel. Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
So in a lymph, when the lymph will flow, it is always coming from the periphery towards the anterior vena cava, because ultimately the lymph will pour into the right atrium via the anterior vena cava. Now when the lymph will flow, it will cross the lymphatic gland, that is called lymph node. Now from one side lymph will be coming to the lymph gland, that is lymph node, and another side it will go out. Here you see in this photograph, here the lymph is coming from this lymphatic vessel to the lymph gland. This is the lymph gland, and lymph will be going out by this one. So this one will be called as afferent lymphatic vessel, and this one is known as efferent lymphatic vessels. So during the process, during the lymph flow, now here you see some cells. These cells are nothing but the T and B lymphocytes. The T and B lymphocytes are mainly present inside the lymphatic lymph node. Now during the process, when the lymph will come here, so the number of T and B cells in the afferent lymphatic vessels will be less. But when the lymph will go out from this lymphatic vessel, the T and B lymphocytes that are present inside the lymph node, that some of these lymphocytes will come to the lymphatic vessels, and here the concentration of lymphocytes will be more. Now here in this photograph, so again I am showing in this photograph, you see. So this is the afferent lymphatic vessels, and this is the efferent lymphatic vessels for this lymph node. Now what will happen? When the lymph will come, it will carry the lymphocytes, and these lymphocytes will be distributed in the peripheral region. Now these lymphocytes will be distributed here in this tissue. Now when the lymphocytes will be distributed, there will be less number of lymphocytes present in the lymph. Now that after that it will enter into the lymph node, it will carry the lymphocytes and it will come out. Now when it will come out, it will again distribute the lymph node to the periphery area. It will also distribute the lymph node, and by this position the lymphocytes will be less, and this will be afferent lymphatic vessel for this lymph node. For this lymph node, this is afferent, but the same lymph node is efferent for this lymph node. Now here again lymphocytes will be collected. Now this will be efferent lymphatic vessel for this lymph node, and again it will distribute lymphocytes to the different organs. Understood or not? If not, I will explain again.
Sir, could you explain it again, sir?
Sir, will you please explain?
अभी you see, समझो ये this is the capillary, tissue capillaries. Okay, say yes or no, then I will go na.
Yes,
last
sir.
में बोलेगा तो और एक बार बता दो तो not possible. Okay, so this is tissue capillaries. Say yes or no. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then what will happen? Here, arterial capillaries will give the oxygen to these cells. Then it will become the venous capillaries. Now, after getting the oxygen, these cells will produce metabolic process. During the metabolic process, the cells secrete one fluid that is called lymph, and lymph will be carried by the lymphatic vessel. Here, the green color vessels are the lymphatic vessels. Now, when the lymphatic vessels will come, it will direct towards the heart because it has to attach with the anterior vena cava. Now, during the movement of the lymph via the lymphatic vessels, it will cross the lymph gland that are present in the junction. For example, you are coming from, the bus is coming from CFU to Selesi. The one junction point is our Selesi campus. So there is a bus stop. So bus has to ply from that area so that the passengers can board into the bus. Understood? Similarly, the lymphatic vessel has to cross the lymph node because lymph node are the storehouse of lymphocytes. So what is the function of the lymph? What is the main function of the lymphatic vessel? It will carry the lymph from periphery towards the heart. Number one. Number two, during the flow of lymph, the lymphocytes that has been carried by the lymph has to distribute to the periphery tissue through which the lymph vessels pass. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then
Yes, sir.
during this process, the lymph will enter into the lymph node. The channel through which the lymph will enter into the lymph node is called afferent lymphatic vessels. Here, this is afferent lymphatic vessel for this lymph node, Now, once the lymph will enter into the lymphatic vessels, it will carry the lymphocytes along with him, and it will come out from the lymph node via the efferent lymphatic vessels. In this case, for this lymph node, you see, for this lymph node, this is efferent for this lymph node. sorry, this is efferent for this lymph node, and this is efferent for this lymph node. But same lymph node, but the same lymphatic vessels, it is efferent for this lymph node, but efferent for this lymph node. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Then,
Yes, sir.
when the lymph will carry via the efferent lymph node, there will be higher concentration of lymphocytes. That lymphocyte has to given to the peripheral tissue. It will distribute. Then there will be less number of lymphocytes in this area because it has distributed. Then again enter into this lymph node. Now this lymph node, this pointer lymph node, is the efferent for this lymph node, and this one is the efferent for this lymph node. When it will be efferent, again the concentration of lymphocytes will be more. Again it will distribute. Like that only it will move in the body towards the heart. So where do you find more lymphocytes? Efferent lymphatic vessel or efferent lymphatic vessel? Tell me.
Efferent.
Efferent. Efferent lymphatic vessel, you will get more lymphocytes because at this junction you will get more lymphocytes because the lymph node will give lymphocytes to the lymph. Okay, efferent lymphatic vessels. In this way it will be moving. Now, lymphatic vessels. So lymphatic vessels are looking like the blood vessels. Okay, it is more, the structural similarity is more towards the venous veins, because lymphatic vessels are also thin-walled like the venous system, and it will also carry the valves like the vein, because the flow of lymph is very less, or flow is very less, so it may reverse back the flow. To prevent the reverse back of the flow of the lymph carries valves like that of the vein. So arteries do not possess valves because the force of blood in the artery is very much. So there is no possibility of reverse back of the blood flow in arteries. But in the vein it is slow, so it carries valves. Similarly in the lymph also, the flow is very slow. That is why it carries valves. Now one very important example I am showing here, or example I am giving here. For example, rabies. Rabies, you know?
Yes,
So
sir.
when the dog bite, dog or anyone, dog, cat, it may be feline species or canine species. So rabies may happen at how many years back? That means there is a possibility of having rabies after how many years?
25 years.
Even 25 years. Is not it? So depending upon the site of injection, the site of biting, there may be a chance that one person may get the rabies infection after even 10-20 years. Okay. Why? Because you see, if the distance from the brain, because rabies, that virus will act on the brain. So if the biting site is distant from the brain, it will take more time. If the bite, suppose one person got bite in the leg, another person got bite in the hand. The person that get the bite on the leg will require more time to develop rabies, okay, as compared to the biting on the hand. Now, how this rabies infection will come from biting site to the brain. It is come via the lymph. Remember, okay? So suppose there is a dog bite in the leg. So from that, the virus will come through the lymph to the brain. So as the flow of lymph is very slow, that is why it will take even 10 years, 20 years to reach the brain. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what is lymphatic gland? What is lymphatic gland? Now you see. These are avoid nahi de baba, ye avoid, okay? This is not A, this is O, avoid, okay? Avoid nahi. There is a wrong. Your note in your note it may be avoid, written is avoid. Actually it should be avoid, okay? These are ovoid, spherical or discoid bodies. So you see this is a discoid bodies. Intercept in the course of the lymphatic vessels. Already I told you, is not it? Intercept in the course of the lymphatic vessel at several points. Understood this line? Already I told you. They may be single or groups. It may occur as single or groups. They are always larger in young age than in old age. So young age it is larger. Old age it is smaller. Why? Why? Can anybody tell me? Why it is larger in the young?
Because sir, the immunity system in the old aged person is weak.
That is not the direct answer. This is indirect answer. Now, lymph node is the secondary lymphoid organ. Is not it? What is the primary lymphoid organ?
Sir, thymus.
Thymus. Now, what will happen? Thymus will produce the lymphocytes. After that, it will mature and distribute to the secondary lymphoid organ. Is not it? Then what will happen to the thymus after completion of distribution? Atrophy. That means no new lymphocytes will form in the thymus. Okay. Clear? Then what will happen? Lymphocytes that has already been distributed to the secondary lymphoid organ will mature and develop there. Is not it? In the secondary lymphoid organ. For example, lymph node. Now I told you it is distributed during the process. Is not it? So when it will distribute it to the lymph, it will be less number or number will be less or not?
Yes, sir.
Day by day it will be less number or not? So it will be smaller. Okay, getting the point. That is why young one it is larger. The number of lymphatic glands and lymph nodes are variable, but these are constantly found in certain areas of the body. So number may be vary, but they are constantly present, definitely present in some of the area of the body. Where, for example, axilla, axillary region, you know. So axilla, you will get definitely lymph node. Inguinal region, you will definitely get lymph node. Mesentery, you will get lymph node. Prescapular area, so prescapular means cranial to the scapula, definitely you will get lymph node. So these are some areas where you will definitely get the lymph node. Now lymphocenter, already I told you in the thoracic cavity, even though I am showing. This term is applied to a particular lymph node or a group of lymph node. So here you see, I am showing this is a particular lymph node. This is a particular lymph node. And this is a group of lymph node. This is a, for example, I will show you here. Here, this is a group of lymph node. So this term is applied to a particular lymph node or a group of lymph node. which are constantly present in a particular area. That means this lymph node will be definitely present in this area only, in a particular species of animal. That means it is a term applied to a particular lymph node or or. This is or particular lymph node or a group of lymph node. You please correct it, okay? Hello, my dear students.
Yes, sir.
Do you have this note or not?
Yes, sir.
Or you don't know? You have this note, so you correct it. So this term is applied to a particular lymph node or a group of lymph nodes which are constantly present in a particular area of the body in a particular species of animal. That means, for example, this lymph node. I am showing this lymph node. This lymph node is known as prefemoral lymph node. This prefemoral lymph node or subiliac lymph node, same thing, same name. So this lymph node is definitely present in this area, cranial to the femoral bone. Femoral bone is present here. So cranial to the femoral bone, that is why it's called prefemoral lymph node. So this is called parotid. This is the parotid lymph node. So this lymph node is always present there, and that is called lymphocenter. That means this lymphocenter is called prefemoral lymphocenter, always present here. This is called parotid lymphocenter, always present here. So lymphocenter is the point where you will get definitely a particular lymph node or a group of lymph node in a particular area, in a particular species of animal. You go through it. Now parotid lymph node. Now you see there are certain important superficial lymph nodes. Now you see here in this photograph, you see some of the lymph nodes are superficial. That means superficial means just below the skin. And do you know this organ? This organ is spleen. Is not it? This is the spleen. So in the spleen also you will get lymph node. This spleen lymph node is not present superficially. It is found inside. Mesenteric lymph node you will get in the mesentery. Mesentery is in the abdominal cavity. You cannot get superficial. So that means some of the lymph nodes are superficial and some of the lymph nodes are deep. Hepatic lymph node present in the liver. It is not superficial. It is a deep lymph node. But some lymph nodes are present just below the skin, and that lymph node is called superficial lymph node. Now superficial lymph node is having clinical importance. First of all, what are those superficial lymph nodes? In case of ox, you see here I am showing these lymph nodes. The first one is the parotid lymph node. This is the parotid lymph node. You see, this is the parotid lymph node. The position means I will show you this position, okay, in the practical class. This is the base of the horn. Then this is the caudal. This is the mandible is like this. Mandible is like this. So at the mandibular junction, just the ear is like this. The ear is like this. So here in this position you will get the parotid lymph node. The mandibular lymph node is this one. This is mandibular lymph node. This is mandibular lymph node position. Then third one is the lateral retropharyngeal lymph node. This is lateral retropharyngeal lymph node. Number 4 is the prescapular. This is the prescapular. This is the scapula. This is the scapula, the prescapular lymph node. Next, prefemoral lymph node. Already told you, this is the prefemoral lymph node. This is the femur. Femur is this one. And number 6 is the superficial inguinal lymph node. This is the superficial inguinal lymph node. So these are called superficial lymph nodes. Now, why these lymph nodes are I am teaching? Especially I am teaching these lymph nodes. Now, these lymph nodes are superficial. That means these lymph nodes are present just below the skin. Clear? Clear, my dear?
Yes, sir.
sir.
Now concentrate. Now concentrate. Now these lymph nodes are having clinical importance. Now, suppose after 5 years you will be appointed as a veterinary doctor. Your government may ask you to purchase some animals from outside. For example, you have to purchase, suppose, Jersey cattle. Your government will purchase some Jersey cattle, but Holstein Friesian cattle. Now, as a veterinary doctor, you may be allowed to go to purchase the animal. Now, when you are going to purchase the animal, how you are selecting the animal in a government, in a different country or different state? Are you going to see the color of the animal? This color is very beautiful, so I have to purchase it. No. You have to choose the animal by some criteria. These criteria are related to the general health status of the animal, or suppose you want to purchase cow, that means milk yield of the animal you have to consider, but definitely you have to consider the health of the animal. The first criteria will be health. Second criteria will, for example, if you want to purchase for breeding purpose, you have to select different criteria. If you want to purchase for meat purpose, the criteria will be different. If you are purchasing for milk purpose, the criteria will be different. But health criteria will be main first. Now, when these lymph nodes are, suppose these lymph nodes are swelling, that means that animal is suffering from some systemic disease. You cannot select that animal. Understand? Suppose there is a swelling of this lymph node. Now, what are those lymph nodes? I will tell you 6 number of lymph nodes. This lymph node, you have to feel it. You have to touch this lymph node. You have to check whether it is swelling or not. If it is swelling, then the animal is also suffering from some disease. So this is not the only criteria. This is one of the criteria to select the animal. Now, there are 2 things. To understand whether the lymph node is swelling or not, first of all, you have to know the location of the animal. Otherwise, you cannot touch the whole body, right? So location is very important. You have to know these locations of this lymph node. Number 2, you have to know the exact size of this lymph node. Then only you can say it is swelling or not. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
So there are 2 things you have to know. First of all, you have to know the location of these lymph nodes. Number 2, you have to know the size of these lymph nodes. Then only you will be able to identify whether these lymph nodes are normal or abnormal. Correct?
Yes.
So that we will teach you in the practical class in the animal farm when you will come here. But for now, you have to know there are some superficial lymph nodes that has some clinical importance. Next, cisterna chyli, already I told you. Again, I am repeating. You see, this is the heart, this is diaphragm, this is intestine. This is intestine means this is abdomen. Now, from whole abdomen and the pelvic part, this is the pelvic part, the lymph will come, white line. The lymph will come via the lymphatic vessel. This is the lymphatic vessel, white one. And at the level of first lumbar vertebra, this is a pocket-like structure. This pocket-like structure where lymph will come from different parts of the body, from the pelvis, from the pelvic limb, from the abdomen lymph will come and store here at the level of first lumbar vertebra. And this pocket-like structure is called cisterna chyli. ठीक है? एग्जाम में दिया था, लेकर कि नहीं?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is thoracic duct. Now what will happen? From the cisterna chyli, it is the storehouse of the lymph. It will come forward and it will cross the diaphragm through the hiatus aorticus. Then once it will cross the diaphragm, it will enter into the thoracic cavity. And when it will enter into the thoracic cavity, it is called thoracic duct. This is the thoracic duct. This thoracic duct joins with the anterior vena cava or left external jugular vein and ultimately pour into the right atrium. So this is the thoracic duct. So this is the largest lymphatic duct of the body, thoracic duct. Right lymphatic duct. There is another lymphatic duct present from the right side of the head, neck, then right forelimb here, and right side of the thorax. The another lymphatic duct will come. That lymphatic duct is called right lymphatic duct. So this is all about. Now next class I will discuss about the fetal circulation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes. Next class means tomorrow. Tomorrow 12 o'clock. Any query?
No, sir.
Today it is
No,
good,
sir.
no? Because slide is bigger, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Actually, previously I do not know that procedure. Somebody told me to do like that. That's why I did today. Okay. Anyway, thank you, everybody. So tomorrow at 12 o'clock we will discuss this fetal circulation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.